Today's episode of the R&R Show is brought to you by GamerGlass.art.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to the R&R Show. This is episode 5. We are live and so happy to be here. My name is Ruel Gaviola. That's Rahdo.
That's right. I'm over here, man. Hello. Hi, everybody. Great to have you back. This is going to be a big episode. It's a Kickstarter blowout bonanza. I've spent many hours going through the coming soon lists that you can find on Kickstarter and GameFound and whatnot. And oh my gosh, so much stuff. And we have whittled it down, whittled. But before we get to all that, we should talk a bit more about our sponsor.
Yes.
Who is very near and dear to my heart. This episode's sponsored by GamerGlass.art. That's a website, by the way, folks. You can go to GamerGlass.art. You always see it in the background of every one of my videos. And this is basically my wife's glass sculpting business. Obviously, she's been working with glass for, I think almost 20 years now. And ever since we got bit by the board game bug, she has always found new interesting ways to make glass accessories you can use in your game. She does all kinds of things, little miniatures. She does like a full line of pandemic viruses, neat little skulls, and you can see all that and more at gamerglass.art. But because Jen is sponsoring the show this week, she's going to be doing a special sale, basically until the end of the month on her, what are they called? There are dichroic meeples. Actually, can you disappear us so I can show the dichroic meeples in the background?
Yeah, let's disappear for just a second. There you go.
Yeah. Over there on the right, she has a large line of pendant necklace decorations that come in all shapes and sizes, where she's taken dichroic art. Dichroic or glass is basically glass that's infused with 2 different colors of metal, so it makes all kinds of different interesting colors. And then she has sandblasted the traditional meeple on it. So if you are a lover of board game jewelry, or you know somebody who does like jewelry and likes games, they make fantastic gifts. So for the rest of the week, these are all 25% off on all her dichroic meeple pieces. But since you're here, folks, it happens, I've got a little extra pull with the shop proprietor. And so I have been able to wrangle an additional 10% off if, while you're checking out, you use the special code RNR10. That's R&R for Rahdo and Ruel, the Rahdo and Ruel Show, 10 for the extra 10% off. And so you will get 35% off if you use that code, 25% off if you don't. Folks. Sorry, I tend to make a few goofs here and there. Let me set the record straight. I got the secret code wrong. It should be RNR, Romeo November Romeo 35, RNR 35, as in it's a 35% discount. Not RNR 10, as in it's a 10% change. RNR 35 if you want to get the full 35% off Jen's dichroic meeple. Okay. Goofs. Let's get back to it. And of course, there's so much other stuff on her Etsy store as well. By all means, feel free to browse. She does custom pieces. I don't know if you have ever seen Slicker Drips, the another board game YouTube channel, where he plays with Marty, his cat, and has a little glass cat. That's one of Jen's, a custom one she made to model the real Marty.
Nice.
So, all right. And I feel like we have definitely covered this because I believe me, I could talk about this stuff all day long. I mean, again, it's very close to my heart, but we got a lot of other stuff to do. So,
so there it is, folks. Yeah, use the code for additional 10% off when you check out Gamer Glass. We're going to take that off now. We do have a busy time today. We got a lot of games to go through. But first, I do want to shout out our friend, the Limestone Cowboy. The Limestone Cowboy gave us the fan art that you saw at the very end of that video. He drew this picture of Rahdo and myself. It was so cool. So thanks, Limestone Cowboy, for doing that. Love the username. That's the Limestone Cowboy over there on Instagram.
All right. Yeah. So let's give away $50, shall we?
Yeah. I love that. Let's do it.
Give me that wheel. So, folks, last week, if you entered the contest, this is to win a $50 gift certificate at Fun Again Games. And the nice thing is I was able to since find out that $50 can go towards your shipping. So if you're overseas and you win, hey, maybe you'll get a smaller game, but it'll still show up at your door free of charge. So let me go on ahead and click, and we'll see who wins.
All right. Good luck, everybody. Here we go.
Yes.
The Wheel of Contest or Wheel of Game Fortune. And
And the winner is Perrin Stewart.
Hey, all right.
Congratulations,
Perrin Stewart.
All right.
Well done.
Yes, well done. I'll be reaching out to you this afternoon after the show, and we'll talk about the particulars of how you can leverage that. And we're not done yet, folks, because now we need to talk about this week's contest, which is sponsored by Aporta Games. And let's see. Oh, I forget. Did you get the video up and ready?
The video up and ready. Oh my gosh.
Oh no!
No!
Live! And we talked about everything except this.
Gosh.
If you just want to quickly go, I mean, if you just bring up a web browser.
Yeah, let's do this.
All right, cool. Aporta Games is it's fine. It's live. It's fun.
Live.
It's cool. Aporta Games is giving away a new Kickstarter bundle of Capital Lux 2 Generations, which I think is just now starting to get out to Kickstarter backers, and it'll be going wide later. And maybe it's going to be too late to actually get the video on screen, but that's okay. If so,
we're going to do it. We are going to make it happen.
Talk really slowly. I actually covered the first Capital Lux a couple of years ago. It's a really sharp card game where every turn you're going to play a card either to the capital Lux, and that means you get to activate the power of that card, whether it's a merchant or a trader. That'd be the same thing, or all the various and sundry types of characters, or you can play it to your own little province, which means you score it for points. And there's a tricky thing, because the more things that get played to Capital Lux, that means there's no jobs for those people at Capital Lux. So the ones you play to your own province will stay home. But if you play a lot of high value cards to your province because you want to score them, and then there aren't very many high value ones in the Capital Lux, that means they'll all leave you at the end of the round, because they, look, there's a lot of openings for merchants and whatnot in the capital, and you won't keep your high scoring cards. So there's this really interesting push and pull between playing them for powers and not getting those points, or playing them for points. And I might have a big group of a particular type, but then if you take all of them out of the city, I'll end up losing all of them. It's very clever. Z Garcia of the Dice Tower loves it, and he really raved about the 2 because 2 adds a bunch of new stuff. Most importantly, solo play, which I'm very excited about. I would love to give that a try. And also, all new art from Kwanchai Moria. It's a really sharp game, and we'll be giving away a copy of this next week. The base game plus the 2 expansions that were from the Kickstarter campaign. So, yay.
All right.
How do they get it, though?
I was just going to ask, how can people win this game, Rahdo?
I just finished talking all that. You can talk for a little bit. I'm thirsty.
I can talk a little bit. So, Kwanchai Moria, you got me right there. I love his art. I mean, all of his games, just incredible artwork. And this sounds like something that I would be really interested in as well. We are going to be giving away a copy, friends. So stay tuned. And we're going to say a word. And this word, sometime during this episode, is going to work itself naturally into conversation, as we always do. And
we'll see.
We'll see how it works. But Rahdo, what is the secret word for this week?
Well, I'm not going to tell you, because they have to watch the show. At some point, one of us, if they're sneaky, will mention the secret word and the other one will not notice. And then the person who did not notice will be made fun of. If one of us tries to sneak it in and the other person notices, that person wins. We're playing our own game here. We will stop the show at that point to tell everybody what you need to do. But the main thing is you have to send an email to contest@rahdo.com. And the subject of the email will have to be the secret word. Don't worry. You don't have to write this down. We'll remind you all of this when it happens later in the show, when the secret word pops up and one of us screams like they're on Pee-wee's Playhouse. Okay. So that'll be coming soon. I think is that all the bookkeeping? We should say hello to the audience. I
was just going to say that's all the bookkeeping, but let's say hi to our friends in chat. We've got everyone around the world today. Join us on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. We've got a bunch here in the US, but we also have our friends internationally. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us today. We've got the regulars as well. Want to shout out all of them. Thank you so much. The comments fly so fast and furious here. Friends. So thank you for your patience and thanks for hanging out. This is so cool. I see Stacy Everdell. I see Amanda Panda. I see Monica and Scott and oh my gosh, Darren. Thank you, friends. So good to see you all here. We've got a big episode today, so hang tight, friends. We're going to be talking about a bunch of games. So we're talking about the top 10 upcoming Kickstarters, but we got more than 10 because we love to talk about games.
Yeah, we kind of buried the lead a little bit. This could be considered a top 25 upcoming Kickstarter games. And the reason for that is we cover a lot of Kickstarter games on the Rahdo Runs Through channel. In fact, Ruel's going to be starting to cover some in the near future as well, which I'm very excited about.
Same.
So what we both did is we went and we found a whole bunch of games that are coming on Kickstarter. We're going to count them down. But before that, we are going to list the ones that are going to be on the channel. Because honestly, we've played some of these. It's not really fair to put them into the rankings and all of that. So first of all, we're going to talk about 15 games that are coming soon on crowdfunding platforms, and you'll be able to see when they go live all the details here. So, and then the countdown will begin. Is that about right? Am I remembering this correctly? What we agreed to?
That is correct. Yeah, we've got so many games to cover, and yeah, so these are all upcoming Kickstarters. These are not launched yet. These are going to be launching in the near future and maybe a little further out. But these are the ones that caught our eyes at during this time. So, all right, we are good to go.
Interestingly, after this show is over, if you check out the show notes, you will be able to click links to every one of these and mark them for notify me when the game launches. That's basically what it is. Everything that has a pre-launch page was fair game for something that could be on this upcoming. So there might have been a couple games we missed out there that they just don't have their pre-launch page up yet, which means they're probably a ways off anyway. Okay, so so we're just going to start going. I think you've got tabs ready to go as we talk.
Good to go. Yeah, you say a game and I will pop open the tab and we're gonna share with our friends.
I can go in any order. I can really try to mess you up.
Yeah, let's do it.
I will try to stick in the order that I believe these are coming out. So the newest one first, because actually I believe it's going to go live on the 31st. Mythic Mischief.
Yes.
Do you have a bitmap for that?
Here we go. Whoop.
Okay, yeah, there we go. That is Mythic Mischief. This is the actual page on GameFound where after the show is over, you'll be able to click a link, go to this page, etc., etc. This is a very funky game. And what's interesting for me personally about it is from the publisher of Veiled Fate and Moonraker. And these two other games have really put these folks on the map. We covered Veiled Fate last year, and it was one of our biggest videos of the year, even though it was really just like a very beautiful a hidden deduction type game with secret roles and whatnot. Moonraker, I haven't played it, but I hear really great things. It's apparently a very sharp deck builder. But so this game has got pedigree for days. At its heart, it's almost kind of like a chess battle-esque battle of wits, where one player controls one clique of a fantasy high school. The monsters are the jocks.
We're having technical difficulties right now, friends. So hang tight. Something happened. I don't know what's going on. The internet does not like to. Okay, there we are.
Oh no!
Rahdo is back. It stopped for a second there. That was really weird. It got hung up. Can we all? Anyone in chat?
By the way,
y'all can
I low res like I was last week?
Yeah. Okay. So people in chat said we lost Rahdo, but nope. You're back. I hope. Yeah. Okay.
Well, yeah. That's exciting. That means more pressure for you. You have to be ready to jump in at any second.
I'm ready.
And I just gave the whole spiel. The spiel is it's a chess-like battle of wits where each player controls a very asymmetric group of monsters trying to maneuver around a school library and forcing the librarian into the other kids because nobody's supposed to be in there. Tons of cool special powers, really big asymmetry, really great art, a really nice whimsical presentation to the whole thing, and awesome looking miniatures. So that would be Mythic Mischief. And now we got to make up time because I dropped out. Arg!
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, just I want to say something real quick. I have had the pleasure of playing this a couple of times already. It lives up to the hype. Full disclosure, I did do some paid work for Mythic Mischief. It was told it's a fantastic game. I think they're going to crush it. They are Ivy's games are just they're on the top of the game right now. So
what is the name of them?
Mythic Mischief.
They are called IV. I'm not sure if they were IV or if they were just the Roman numeral 4.
Oh no, it's IV Games. They're actually an offshoot of IV Studio. They are an animation studio, and then they now have gone into the tabletop space.
Yes.
Yeah. So shout out to Austin and their entire team out there. They're fantastic.
Yep. Well, and like I said, you'll be seeing a run through from Shay and a rules run through from Ryan when it goes live on the 31st. Okay. Right. Continuing on for the stuff that we're covering with the channel. Next up, Solar Sphere.
Solar Spear. All right. And
Yes.
oh my gosh.
And now,
I love doing this live, folks. This is awesome because I'm totally drenched in sweat trying to find my links here.
I have my list in the same order I gave you the list. I figured we were just literally going to go numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But
yeah, you know, they are all over the place. So Solar Spear, let me gosh, I had it up here. You know what it is? It's a StreamYard thing. So we're gonna work with StreamYard here, make it happen.
We'll get there in the end, folks. We're still learning. This is only episode 5. We can only get better from here.
Can't get much worse.
Yeah. All right, so I'll talk about it, and eventually you'll put a picture on the screen. Solar Sphere is a cooperative dice worker placement game where players are trying to build a Dyson sphere, which is an idea I have loved ever since I first was exposed to it. I know a lot of people first heard about it in Star Trek Next Generation, but I mean, I've known about Dyson spheres since the 80s. And, you know, the idea of building something around an entire star to harness infinite energy is very, very cool. But this really seems like a cool gameplay exercise as well. Okay, we just went to Board Game Geek. That'll do. It's a cool exercise as well because you played Castles of Burgundy, of course, right?
Yes.
Which is a dice worker placement game of sorts because the dice tell you what you can do. And if you're not happy with what you get those little worker chips that let you change the dice. Yeah. Imagine a game, Ruel, which is cooperative, and you can use those workers to change the dice, or you can use them instead to upgrade all the various actions you're doing throughout the game and become more powerful. And, I mean, far be it from me to say these folks improve upon Stefan Feld's design of his greatest game of all time, but these were the things that really pulled me in. And when I saw that, it's like, that sounds a lot like the workers in. Why can't you use the workers in Castles Burgundy this way? So I'm going to be filming this one for when it goes live, I think on the 7th of September, if I recall correctly. And I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, you had me on Castles of Burgundy in space. And there is a game similar to that as well called Pulsar 2879 or something like that from CGE. This one, just briefly looking at it, looks more like My Speed. Yeah, there it is. There's Pulsar. Great game. Yeah. Okay. So that is a Solar Sphere. Yeah.
I would like to apologize officially to Mythic Mischief and to GameFound because I just looked at the chat. They point out, wait a minute. Is it Mythic Mischief on GameFound? Yes, it is. Again, the links will be correct in the show after the live show is over, folks. So if you're looking for Mythic Mischief, head on over to GameFound to their upcoming projects and you'll be able to find it. And I think you can actually scroll, you can preview the Kickstarter page or the GameFound page. Oh, that's a hard habit to break. But GameFound will eventually take over the space. But for now, the vast majority of what we have to talk about today is Kickstarter. Okay. Next up, 11.
11, yeah. You know what? And I'm figuring out what's going on here with so just technical note. I'm not going to bore anyone with the notes, but StreamYard can only handle so many different tabs, and that's why they're not all showing up.
I see. You open them all up ahead of time so we could just boom, 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 and StreamYard is crashing.
Yeah, so basically we're just talking about too many games.
Yes, that's the problem. We broke the internet today.
We broke the internet.
These Kickstarters. Yeah. Well, while you're calling an audible, which is the wrong type of football, I will just say 11 is a new business simulation coming from Portal Games. And I have to admit, I have no interest in soccer, or as the rest of the world calls it properly, football. But this is a game where you are a football manager. You could actually, hey, you got it. You can actually think of it as a Football Manager, the video game, turned into board game form. You have to pay attention to the players' needs, hire them, fire them, deal with all kinds of business dealings, and then on top of that, you have to make sure your team wins, games as well. Although that's kind of encapsulated in like a little mini game. So I have to admit, again, I don't care about sports at all. Now, to be fair, I am hugely the biggest fan in the world of Ted Lasso, which is literally the greatest TV show of all time. So I have a bit more interest in the subject than I used to, but I'm interested in this because Portal Games years ago gave us Pret-a-Porter, which I don't care about the world of high fashion either, but man, I loved that business simulation. So I'm expecting equally good things from 11, which by the way, as you just indicated, is to be found on GameFound as well. And I think that is also going live on the 7th.
Okay, on the 7th. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this one, real quick. I do enjoy the soccer or football. The rest of the world knows it. And this one is interesting because you are actually literally from the ground up building a soccer franchise or a football franchise,
Yes.
and you're not just worried about the actual game itself, but everything that involves it. From building the team, getting players, building an arena or a stadium, and talking to your managers and so forth. So yeah, really excited about this one because honestly, there's not too many sports games that I like. I mean, I do enjoy the sports in general. To watch, like I like watching my Los Angeles Lakers, the 2020 NBA champions. Oh, there it is right there. You've got a copy. Oh my gosh.
I do. It's all
there
in
it
this
is.
box right here.
Yes.
I'm just
I love
you
it.
now.
Oh my God.
Keep it off camera right over there.
Yeah. Oh, darn it. Yeah, that's I can't wait to check that one out. So that is another one, folks, that you can find on GameFound. It's going to be launching real soon here.
Yes, and actually, Stacy points out, for folks who are listening to this later in podcast form, by the way, folks, if you can't make it live and you'd like to listen to us jabber instead of watch us jabber, you can go to podcast.rahdo.com. Later on today, I will be putting this episode up in audio form. And for people who are listening, the game is actually spelled out, E-L-E-V-E-N. It's not the number 11. If you're trying to do a search for it online, spell out the 11. Thank you, Stacy, for making that call.
Good looking out as always. Okay, let's move on and see.
Next up is Agemonia or Agemonia.
Okay, Agemonia.
Which is you'll be seeing a video for this coming from Shay. I've already seen his run through. It's great. This is a sprawling storybook fantasy adventure game, and I know we've seen a lot of these. What makes this one special? Actually, you'll eventually see Shay's final thoughts, but I loved it when he put it this way. The story is so wound into the gameplay. Usually the story is like, oh, let's set up the mission and then let's have more story at the end of the mission, maybe a couple of things. Here, the story is every step of the way is constantly evolving and changing. And I loved what he mentioned offhand. He said, that means all the enemies are not just bags of hit points for you to punch. You actually, even the enemies are getting like all this thematic narrative story just woven into the game. It's much more like, and he likened it to being much more in board game form, like playing a traditional RPG, a tabletop role-playing game, because the story works its way in. The story is not just something that's pasted on top of a bunch of number crunching and dice rolling. And speaking of the dice rolling, It does have roll to resolve combat, which I'm usually not the biggest fan of, but I really like the way they do it here, because you're always guaranteed to get successes. Just as a question of, will you get bonus like kind of overdrive successes, which is a really nice way to do it. So Agemonia, you'll be seeing that on the channel soon. It's coming out in September, and watch for it.
Nice. Yeah, this one, I'm glad you brought up the combat things. I'm okay with combat games, but I do like how they do it here. As you said, you're always going to get some sort of hit, but then it depends like the extent of how hard you're going to hit or whatever. So that's a really neat feature. Okay, we're going to keep this thing rolling, folks. What is the next game we've got up on the list, Rahdo?
The next one's going to be another one I'm covering called Birdwatcher. And this is a smaller, simple little card game with really great art. I imagine Wingspan fans will be very, very interested in this, but the players are casting the role of wildlife photographers, which I have to admit is just a theme I love. Why going out and hunt animals with a gun when you can hunt them with a camera and just try to get the perfect picture instead of the perfect shot? Let's see more of that board game industry. And it's even though it's kind of a simple card game, it's really thematic because your actions, there's a little sneak peek of the art. Your actions are really tied to trying to get the perfect shot or trying to use bird calls to get the birds to come out so they can come into frame, or even flushing them out. One of your actions is you can go into the woods and get them all out so that you could then start using a bird call on them. But the thing that actually made me fall in love and made me say, yeah, I want to cover this game when they first contacted us about it was one of the features is you can put a telescopic lens on your camera so I can take pictures of the birds that you are attracting, which is just cool. A great way, and it's so thematic. It's just so perfect. It seems like a really sharp, clever little game, all about hand management and knowing when to play cards for the right effects. Birdwatcher.
Yeah, I love that feature you're talking about where you can, sort of not really spy, but you can look at your opponent's birds. It's like almost like a take that without feeling take that, right? It's
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, and that's I really dig, and I'm so happy that these type of themes are becoming a little more prevalent in board games. These things that aren't always, you don't always have to like fight monsters and stuff. Let's go watch some birds and take photos.
How about that? How about that?
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
great.
I never understand people who say there's no new themes in board games.
Yeah.
But yeah. And by the way, how's the audience doing? I know I'm having to do the lion's share of this, folks. So don't worry, Rel's got a couple on these lists that are coming up too.
No,
but next up, dig up Voidfall.
Voidfall, yes. Come on, Voidfall, where are you at? I know I just saw you on the list here.
This one is huge. It's the next game from Mind Clash.
Mind Clash, folks.
I.e. Tricerion, i.e. Anachrony. Mind Clash is known for huge, bombastic, beautiful productions of really solid Euro-style mechanisms, incredibly thematically integrated, more so than just about anybody in the industry. And here's the deal. Voidfall is a new 4X game with procedural deterministic combat, so you're not doing a bunch of dice rolling, so it's a really great for the Euro crunchy crowd. But what I really like most is Nigel Bucknell and Dave Turchi working on this together. And if you have not checked out the game that came out earlier this year from them, the card game Imperium Classics and Legends, oh my gosh, what an incredible design team. So I expect amazing things from Voidfall. I believe it's in the mail on its way to Shay right now because he'll be doing a big run through of it when it goes live. Yeah.
And we also just a quick shout out, Ian O'Toole, fantastic artist. He is the master of the. This is gonna be good. This 4X Euro style. Yeah, I'm all over this. Especially as we're starting to be able to game together with other friends who are vaccinated. This is definitely in my wheelhouse as far as gameplay is concerned. So looking forward to Shay's run through this.
Oh yeah. It'll be fantastic.
Okay.
He lives in the same city as you. I'm just saying.
He what?
He lives in your city.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. We are about. I think we're like an hour away. So, Shay,
well, I guess you now have to decide just how bad do you want to play some Voidfall?
Let's play some Voidfall.
It's an hour away from you, even as we speak. All right,
I'm ready. Okay, let's move on.
And I'm sorry, audience, that it is not an hour away from you. I'm not going to say where. I'm not going to say anything about where anybody lives, just in case people are thinking, "Oh,
yeah." Let's not dox anyone today, shall we?
Indeed. Yes. Okay. Next up, another one for me, Verdant, which I sadly tried to talk about in last week's episode, but I was having the low res blues, so it was just like. Yeah. A bunch of splotchy colors, but oh my gosh, this is great. As I said last week, a design superstar team. It's like the super friends of board game designers got together. You've got Mr. Calico, Overboss, the Point Salad crew, all coming together to make an incredibly sharp, fun, fast-playing, compelling, gateway family-friendly-ish card drafting and then tile laying game, all about trying to get the right plants into the right position so they've got the right amount of light, they've got the right fertilizer so they can become verdant, and you can score lots of points. And the tricky thing is, like several other games from this group, as the game goes on, you just get more and more tightly constricted because of the way you've set up your house. Like, oh, I can't play this here, but I really want this guy put over there, but then it's going to have the wrong light, and you're just full of really agonized decisions. It's like Calico and Overboss and Truffle Shuffle. This is another great game in that line of just super fun, fast, compulsive, and compelling and beautiful productions. Verdant.
Yes, Beth Sobel, artist, big fan of hers. Anytime there's a game with her art on it, it's almost an immediate insta-buy for me. I know this one's going to be a big hit with my family, gateway style, but, as you said, it really ramps up as the game goes on. So that's Verdant. I'm looking forward to that one as well. Yeah.
I do see the audience saying, I don't know, I'm kind of over plant games. And you're right, there have been a bunch. The interesting thing to me is your Flourish and your Meadow and all the other ones, none of them really are paying attention to one of the most important things to a plant's ecosystem, the light. And that's really a big part of this game that I don't think you've seen in all the other. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've really played almost all of them, and I've enjoyed all of them because my wife and I really. My wife is actually a master gardener. She actually has a certificate of that from the state of Oregon.
Oh no way! Wow.
From when she was very, very young. But that's neither here nor there. We have too many games to get through.
I know. Let's keep going.
All righty. Okay. So that is Verdant, and then keep the heroes out. Now, this is a cooperative dungeon, protect the dungeon game, because we play the monsters, the denizens of this dungeon, and we have to keep the heroes out. And first of all, it's in the other room. I'd love to actually tease you by showing it to you with my prototype. Oh my gosh, this is one of the best looking prototypes I've seen in a long time. The graphic design and the wooden meeples that represent all these different monsters, adorable. But actually, you just want to pick up and touch them. They look so cool. But that's neither here nor there. What really got me interested in this was it's a cooperative game, and it kind of oddly, very weirdly, reminds me of Marvel Champions. But Marvel Champions with a board. Because every round you have a hand of 5 cards, and if you can, you want to play all of those cards. And in all kinds of interesting different ways that they reveal all different kinds of combinations of gameplay that will get you spawning characters all over the place, and it's just really, really satisfying from what I've seen so far. I'm looking forward to playing it in the next few days, but that is keep the heroes out.
Yeah, look, I mean, all of these look so good. Like, I don't want to just keep saying I'm looking forward to this, but I really am truly looking forward to this one as well. It's got asymmetric abilities. It's a cooperative dungeon defense game. Like, yeah, I'm down. This is, and like you were saying, all the components and stuff, like, you got me at that. So,
oh no, I got you better, man. What did I just say? You forgot to scream when I said the secret word of this episode.
You got me.
Yes, I win.
Friends. Oh, no.
The secret word.
Oh, there it is.
This episode of
well
the
done, Rahdo.
Is
well done. Well done.
Put it on screen.
Done, my friend.
Yes.
There it is. Right. Secret word, folks.
I actually, if you go back and watch the instant replay, I kind of flubbed it a little bit. And I'm like, oh, God, you heard my weird pause right there. Because in my head, I couldn't remember. Was it combination or combinations? And I believe I said it correctly. But yes, folks. So we're going to pause this list for a second. If you send an email to contests@rahdo.com with your subject header being the word combination, and you have to send it by Wednesday of next week, because this is only for 1 week. So you have until basically September 1st to send an email to contests@rahdo.com, and with the subject being combination. All caps, all lowercase, it doesn't matter. My Outlook filter is just looking for contest@rahdo.com and looking for combination. If you throw pictures in, that's great too. Actually, I've really been enjoying. I mean, hundreds of these things keep coming in. They take a lot of time, but a lot of people are saying really nice things. They're saying a lot of nice things about you, Ruel, actually.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And there is the word, folks, combination. Send in the subject of contest@rahdo.com. I can't. You got me good. That was well done. Well done.
Combination is because I didn't mention when we were talking about Capital Lux. Another cool, the biggest change from the original, the first one, is they're all the same types of character cards you play are here, but now you can set them up to have different powers. They always had fixed powers before. Now for each type, you can choose 4 different powers that they've got, and they make a big deal about how that leads to 256 truly unique combinations of gameplay.
There it is.
Hence the secret word.
That's the secret word.
Yes.
Well done.
Yep.
All
okay,
right.
And we will not speak it again.
That is it. That is it. So one last time, there it is. Send the email with the secret word combinations in the subject to contest@rahdo.com. And we're going to be giving away a copy next week.
And checking the chat, I see Stacy is weighing, hey, is it contest or contest, singular or plural? Again, because we always have to remember, I know you put it on screen, but people are listening to this.
Yeah.
Folks, here's the secret. I've set up a filter for both contest and contests. So you're fine either way, singular or plural, however you heard me, contest or contests @rahdo.com. And hopefully that ends the sibilance for this particular episode of
well done. You think of everything, Rahdo. That is great. Okay. We've still got a lot of games to talk about. Let's continue.
I'm done talking for a while. Ruel, why don't you tell everybody about one of the games you're going to be covering pretty soon on the channel, Altenor.
Altenor, yes. There it is right there. Altenor Secrets, friends. This is, oh man, this looks really cool. If you can see there on the board, those of you watching right now, the board is circular, right? And this is a competitive battle game. It's got the circular board, so these rings actually move. It has minis, and the way you're playing it, you're going to take over like one your group of adventurers, and you're going to go around trying. It's a survival game. Whoever's still on the board will win the game. But look at that board. It's built-in modularity, right? It's going to change as you play the game.
I didn't realize
so fired about
that the individual rings of the board rotate independently. So so it's a battle royale on a literally constantly shifting landscape.
Yes, it's so fired about
cool.
this. Yeah. So not only you're fighting, but you're also collecting artifacts and stuff for points and everything else. This looks tremendous. I cannot wait to cover this. This is Altenor Secrets. Okay. So I'm trying to keep the pace up here. So I'm sorry.
People are keeping track of our secret rating so far. They gave you it's 4-1, but not really, because I actually got you the first time. But it was not a contest at that point. We were not.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't.
So you had no reason to be looking
right,
for it.
Right.
So, but I'm still going to take it. It's 3-2. I'm the scrappy underdog working my way back. All right.
There you go.
You like Altenor Secrets? Hey, let's keep going with Rel. Tell us about Perpetuity.
Perpetuity, yeah, and that's the funny thing. This name has tripped me up quite a few times when we talk about it. But this, as y'all know, I am a sci-fi geek. I love sci-fi. I almost said it again. Perpetuity. Gosh, why can't I say that word? This is. Let me. Is it up on the screen? Okay, it is. Gosh, it's
yes,
so
it is.
weird.
Anyways, yep.
Okay, cool. It's a sci-fi worker placement game. And so those two things are my favorite things in the world, sci-fi worker placement. It also has a solo game as well. So what's really neat about this, as the game continues on, you have resources, artifacts, those things start to degrade over time. So the game's going to speed up, and you really have to finish things before, everything blows up into smithereens. So that is Perpetuity, Grave Descent. Have you been able to take a look at this one, Rahdo?
No.
Okay.
When they contacted us, I took a look at it very briefly, but then I knew you were interested and said, well, hey, I want more Ruel on the channel. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what you come up with, actually.
Yeah. Cannot wait to play this one. Sci-fi worker placement. The last really good one that I played was Cryo. I really enjoyed that one. This one has, I think it may have just a little bit of that in the design here, as far as things really start to ramp up towards the end, which is similar to Cryo, where all the I forget what it's called, all the sabotaging that happens. It really speeds up the game there. So that is Perpetuity. Let me go here.
Okay, well, let's
all right.
About my next one, Roll Camera, the B-movie expansion.
Yes.
And here's the deal. This isn't coming out, I believe, until October. That you'll be finding it on Kickstarter, I believe. But I had to film it early because it had to go on to some other things. And it's also going to come to you because you'll be seeing a video from Ruel when this goes live also in October. Yes. Here's the deal, folks. It is way too early for me to say this, but I think there is no choice about it. Roll Camera. Now that I've played it a few times with my wife, and we've also played it with this expansion that we have in, prototype form, it's easily going to be one of my top 10 games of the year. Easily. Wow. This game was literally crafted for me as a former video game developer who happened to work on the movies, which was published by Activision and Lionhead a million years ago, and I'm a lifelong movie lover. It does such an amazing job of dice worker placement cooperation, where players are all working together trying to put on the best movie, or with the expansion, the best B movie. And you'll be able to see it when I cover it. And you can go back and watch my run through of the original Roll Camera to get an idea of why. I mean, I loved it back then when I was in prototype form. The final version is so amazing. There it is, right there on my wall. It's going to be there for a while. I love it so much. But the B movie brings in genres, which are like this whole extra thing. And what it does, it has a whole bunch of cards, like any good expansion should do for a predominantly card game. But more importantly, it adds more depth. Because it used to be we just had to worry about the golden triangle, quality, speed, and cost, and we had to like balance those three things. Now we have a fourth thing. We have to hit genre requirements because the executive said, hey, this has to be a time travel movie, which means we've got to get a certain number of science fiction and fantasy tokens on it while we're trying to do everything else. Having smart ideas to solve day-to-day production problems. It's fantastic. I cannot stress just how good Roll Camera is. And with the expansion, It catapults it. I think I have rated it. If you go to ranked.rahdo.com, if I recall correctly, I think it's pushed it into my top 25 games of all time with the expansion.
Oh, wow.
It is so amazing. If you are a lover of cooperation, of dice worker placement, and of the movies or any kind of big creative production project, it was made for you too. Oh, and then also it's got great art. And if you look really closely, folks, I only just found this out the other day. There's a little meeple of me in the art on the board, which is very, very cool too. Yes.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I did not know that.
Yep.
I do want to shout out in chat my friend Matt from the Silver Medal Tavern. He just played this as well recently, and he raved about it too, Rahdo. So I feel like it's going to be one of those games that, yes, will make a lot of top 10 lists at the end of the year. And I think this is just neat, just the way the box is. It's got that the clapper. I mean, it's
all
actually
right,
part of the thing. Yeah, can we see that?
Come here, you. Action.
That's so cool. Come on, folks.
It's very, very cool. Oh, okay. Well, let's go on and show a little bit more. Not that we have time for this. Here's the insert. It's an actual movie canister.
Oh my gosh.
That gets set out to the movie theaters and stuff like that, and then all the stuff fits inside. Yes, it's a bit overproduced and whatnot, but again, it's hard not to be charmed all the heck and back with roll camera. So anyway, this is unfair. We've given a roll camera a lot more time than everybody else. We should keep on moving.
Let's keep on moving. What do we got next?
Okay. Terraternity.
Terraternity. All right.
Yeah.
Let's
get
that
on. Terra. Terra. Yeah, if you want it. Okay, Terraternity. This has got a lot of cool things going on. It's actually, when I first read about it, it reminds me a lot of Vita Lasarda's CO2. Which is a very big, heavy, complex economic simulation about trying to convert the world to green energy by replacing old, dirty power plants with new modern technology, technology of the future. And CO2, Jen, I absolutely love, but man, that is a heavy, hard game to get your head around because it's a Vita Lasarda game. Terraternity is like the Gateway family version of that. It's a game for everybody. And I have to say a huge shout out to the publisher. I hope this game succeeds so well because they are committed to using recycled and biodegradable and safe ink for their components. So, I mean, this is putting their money where their mouth is. And if it succeeds, it has the potential to show the rest of the industry that, hey, it doesn't have to just be wall-to-wall plastic that's ultimately going to break down into microplastics and be in the ocean for the next 1,000 years. Hey, how about we try to look for a new way to produce? So Terraternity, and then on top of all of that, it looks like it's got a really good, solid worker placement gameplay with all kinds of really cool asymmetric powers. A lot of the stuff that really makes CO2 so great brought over into a more, easily accessible game. And then the last thing I love. So CO2 are represented by black cubes, and they build up over time if we're not getting rid of the dirty power plants. Every time you generate them, you have to take them and drop them onto a growing pile of CO2, hoping that they don't spill over off of. This is a dexterity element that I first saw in Carnival Zombie, and it was fantastic there. Okay. That if you drop too many zombies and they fell off the gravestone, then they'd rise from the dead and come at you again. Here, it's this idea that if too much CO2 is generated, you keep on dropping until eventually you have a catastrophe, which is really kind of sad when I say it out loud, but it's also making another fun element in what looks like a really sharp game with great presentation. You'll be seeing Shay covering that in October.
Yeah, this one, I have to admit, on my shelf of opportunity, I have a copy of CO2 in Shrink. Just sitting there. I've been wanting to play it for years. It's just sitting there teasing me. And that's why I was excited when we saw this on the list, because this one does seem like a more accessible game in that theme. So really looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. All righty. And then we've got 3 more, and we're about to get to our top 10. What? Oh my gosh. We're already finished. Okay. So I have 3 more. These are not ones that are covering in the future, but I have covered in the past. And so they're getting, expansions or reprints. So I figured I wanted to give some shout outs to them too. First of all, we've got On the Underground from Ludi Creations. They are bringing us a new standalone expansion to the fantastic On the Underground gameplay, which is a route building game where you're trying to, fulfill the needs of commuters in a city. This new expansion is Paris and New York. I believe, from what I've heard, Paris is the most complex, heaviest integration of this yet, and New York is the fastest because it's fast, and the commuters, you have a hard time keeping up with them. These new reprints of On the Underground, I think, look gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. Sebastian Bleasdale has done a great design. He's one of the co-designers of one of my top 10 games of all time, Keyflower. So definitely be on the lookout for On the Underground. And let's see. Oh, and by the way, On the Underground for years regularly made Tom Vassel's top 10 of all time. I mean, it was constantly showing up. Man, he loves that game. We'll talk anybody's ear off about it if you ever run into him at a convention. Nice. Then we've got Relics of Rajavihara, if I recall correctly.
Rajavihara, yes.
It's getting a new expansion as well. And this game, when I covered it, oh my gosh, it's so charming. It's a solo game, but you can play cooperatively with players just working together because it is a board game 3D version of classic Sokoban puzzle video games like Adventures of Lolo or Kickle Cubicle. I mean, I know these games are still popular to this day. The idea that, we've got to figure out how to push all these crates around to be able to get from one place to another. This game turns it into real physical objects you're pushing around. And unlike video games usually, this is 3D because they often stack on top of each other. You're kicking them off. And this new expansion, Montalo's Revenge, it's got Indiana Jones theme to it. It adds like a bunch of new things to interact with, like snakes and all of that. It had to be snakes, Jock. Why,
snakes.
Jock? Yep. So you can look for that coming through, and you can watch my run through of the original one to see just how clever it is. In fact, if you go watch my run through of the original, you can actually see if you can figure out the puzzle I'm demonstrating. Before I do the whole thing. If I recall correctly, I did that kind of interactively. And then the last one, before we get to our actual list, Ruel, is Gartenbau.
Gartenbau.
And now this was on Kickstarter, I think, a couple of years ago, and I covered it at the time, and I thought it was a brilliant domino-style tile-laying game where you're putting tiles out domino-style, where they have to go on the edge of other things. But as you're laying them out, you're trying to get combinations of symbols together so that you can actually put flower tiles that are huge on top of them and score points. So it's like double-decker dominoes, for lack of a better term, and it's brilliant. It was such a clever design. Now, it didn't make it on Kickstarter the first time, but I think in part that's because a lot of people did not dig the original art, the vibe of it. But it is now coming back to Kickstarter with a new publisher, 25th Century Games, who they're on a hot streak as well. And they have completely revamped it from scratch to make it look as good as the gameplay is. So if you want to know more about it, you can go watch my original run through I did for it when it was on Kickstarter before. I expect good things, and it's got to succeed this time. Garden.
Yeah. It looks beautiful, and I do want to shout out 25th Century Games because if you've played that game Kohaku, that's one of the most beautiful games in my library. It's just a beautiful game with koi fish and plants and everything, and this looks gorgeous. So hopefully this one will be more successful this time.
Yes, fingers crossed. Knock on wood. But hey,
yes.
Now that we got that bookkeeping out of the way, we can actually get to the top 10 we promised everybody.
Oh yeah, friends, thank you again for hanging out with us. We are looking at the top 10 Kickstarter games that we're looking forward to. The first one on my list,
number 10 on the list.
Number 10. Let me get the little banner up here as well, so we know what we're talking
interesting.
about. Yeah. So this is one of my top 10s here. Let me.
This one's on GameFound, not on Kickstarter.
Yes, GameFound. Thank you. So this is Beyond Humanity: Astrominers. Excuse me. So you're managing a group of space miners, and you're extracting minerals from an asteroid belt. So it's a game of a resource management. You're building your wealth of your corporation, and you're hoping to succeed in all these things while your opponents are trying to do the same thing. Beyond Humanity. This is actually, I got to play the original Beyond Humanity. So they create this whole world of games. Okay. Yes. And that one, oh my gosh, that one was absolutely amazing from a technological standpoint. They actually had these little, it's not part of the Astrominers, but the original game had these really cool LED lights inside these little parts, and you put them on and they would connect with each other, and they'd actually light up on the board. It was absolutely mind-blowing.
They literally, the individual pieces that represented your space colony literally networked together and communicated with each other, and you could communicate to them with the smartphone app. It was the most ambitious board game I have ever seen. I think the industry has ever seen. And now this is in the same line, but it's nothing like that. This is a worker placement game.
A worker placement game,
Yeah,
yes. And so it's within the same universe and everything, but yeah, it doesn't have the technological stuff that's going on. But, again, sci-fi worker placement, you got me right there, and I'm totally interested in this one. That's Astrominers, or Beyond Humanity, Astrominers.
It will be very interesting to see because in this, we have two, space construction games. We got this one, and then we had mine, the, what do you call it? Solar Sphere.
Solar Sphere, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's a good time to be a sci-fi fan, basically.
It is.
Or a sci-fi worker placement fan. All right,
that's number 10 on the list. Let's continue to
Astrominer. Okay, let's go to my number 9, which is I have a long history with this game, actually. Artemis Odyssey.
Yeah.
Did you know this was coming? I'm sure you saw it was there.
I saw it on the list, and I almost picked this one, to be honest with you. So that's really funny. Okay.
Yeah.
So there it is, right there.
So Artemis Odyssey. And I should say, just to be clear, folks, the list we did up till now was the games that we are covering on the channel. From now on, this is stuff we're just fans. Ron and I, we just looked through the list and said, well, what's interesting to us? We're not covering any of these things, but what jumps out at you? Artemis Odyssey jumps out at me because this has almost been a grail game for me for a decade. I got into the hobby back in 2010. In 2009, a game was released called Ad Astra. And I was always super intrigued by the concept of it. This was it's a space empire expansion exploration thing, like Race for the Galaxy kind of thing. And in fact, it has a lot of the same kind of stuff, having planets, doing production and converting that into moving your forward engine. But the thing is, we all have a bunch of cards, and at the beginning of every round, we are all going to play several cards to this action row face down. And we take turns. Ruel might put a card he really wants to do first thing in the first spot. And then I might, I just want to make sure the last thing I do this round is this action. And I put it face down. And now Ruel has no idea what we're doing at the end of the round. And I have no idea what everybody is doing at the start of the round. And over the round, we just keep playing in turn, all these cards face down. And then eventually, once they're all played, we reveal them one at a time in order, and everybody gets to take advantage of them. Race for the Galaxy style, the player who played it gets a bonus version, a better version of that. But this game, it sounds so brilliant to me because it's all about anticipating, right, what is Ruel making us do? What would he want to do right from the get-go? I bet it's going to be resource gathering. Okay, so if he's doing that, and if I'm right, I'm going to make this be the second card we do. And if I'm wrong and he did a different thing, then okay, I've got to pivot now. It's always been brilliant. And here's why I've never actually sought it out. It's always been a 3-player minimum game because that was the way of things back in before the aughts, the early 2000s. So nobody cared about 2-player gaming back then, except for Cosmos with their 2-player line. Now, the new reprint, complete revamping, as I understand it, they've really tightened up and sped up the gameplay quite a bit. Artemis Odyssey supports 2-player and solo mode as well.
Nice.
Yes, I've wanted to see this
about the solo
for
mode.
a decade. I have wanted to play this game, and now I can finally play it with Jen, and so that's why it's my number 9, so cool. Artemis Odyssey.
Yeah, I love the fact that you're talking about the Race for the Galaxy type mechanism. I'm always a fan of that, trying to guess, what your opponent's going to do, come out there. Yeah, really cool. All right, so that is a number 9. Let's move on to, or what number was that? Was that
number 9? Yeah, you got number 8.
Okay, number 8. This is, oh my gosh, come on. StreamYard, you're killing me here. Number 8 is Beast. I saw this. I thought long and hard about this one. Yeah, I was wondering if you would. But so this one right off the bat, the first comparison I can think of is Fury of Dracula. It's a 1 versus all, 1v versus many. It's hidden movement and card drafting, and what you're trying to do is hunt down this great beast, right? So one player is going to play as a beast, the other players are going to play as hunters, or trying to protect the land and hunt this beast down and take care of them. There's combat and hidden movement. Card drafting, which is, I don't think there's card drafting in Fury of Dracula, which I thought was interesting in Beast. So this one's going to play really well with more players, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. It says 2 to 4. I'm assuming it's going to be the best at 4. I've loved all my plays of Fury of Dracula, and the whole Dracula thing, the whole goth thing, not really my jam. This one, though, when you're set in this land with strange beasts and stuff, that's more my style. So that's why I'm super excited about Beast. That's my number 8 top 10 of the top 10 upcoming Kickstarters.
All right. Then let's move on to my number 7, which, if you've been watching us from the get-go, from our first episode, you've already heard about this one. My number 7 is The Spill.
The Spill. All right. What is
Remember,
the Spill?
I incorrectly said it was a hot upcoming retail game because at the time nobody said it was coming to Kickstarter, but the Spill is coming to Kickstarter. And so let me refresh everybody in case they don't remember from the first episode of the R&R show. This is a cooperative game from designer Andy Kim and beautiful art, as always, from Kwanchai Moria. There has been an oil rig spill or an oil derrick spill. I remember some people corrected our use of the terms in the first episode if we were saying rig or derrick. But the interesting thing is, at the center of the board is a gigantic cube tower. And every round, the cubes that get dropped in and spread out represent the oil spreading out in all kinds of different directions. And we are, environmental rescue ships going around the outskirts trying to stop the spread of the oil and also saving all the sea life that is spreading. So it's a beautiful story this game tells, although it's also a very harrowing one, but we do get to be heroes, on the front lines of really the war to save the planet. By the way, folks, you may have noticed the shirt I'm wearing today in honor of some of the games I knew would be on this list. But anyway, yes, let's make things green again, shall we? But hello. You have to go out and check this out. The cube tower. I mean, my wife loves cube towers from Amerigo, and then there was the fantasy one from Kevin Wilson. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's just a wonderful, fun gimmick to drop things into a tower, watch them spread all over the place. Oh, the Loop does it too. It's fantastic there. So a cooperative game where we're literally saving the planet. This one looks very exciting to me. Great art, great presentation, great message. I mean, what better way to be a hero than to stop my number 7, The Spill.
Nice.
I don't have time to rank anything real well. We're just barely going to get out of here with the skin of our teeth. My number 5 is Bardwood Grove. Grove. This is, I almost didn't put this on because I found this 2 days ago on the Kickstarter coming soon list, and there was nothing about it on Board Game Geek. There was nothing about it on the retail or on the publisher site, Final Frontier, and I was like, I just don't know. But literally just this morning, I saw that, now there's a whole entry on Board Game Geek. You're like, yes, I am excited about this. One, because I just love the art of the Miko. And everything from Final Frontier looks amazing because of his art. But this is from the designer of Merchant's Cove, which was a bonkers successful and very brilliant, ambitious design. So this is his follow-up. It's a deck builder, and we are in a fantasy world where we play not as a sword-wielding hero, but as a bard. And every turn of your deck, you draw 2 cards in your deck building game. One of them you will play into your discard pile to do its action. The other one will get added to your bard song. And over the course of the game, you're building a string of cards that represents the song that you are singing to try, apparently, to pacify the monsters rather than kill them. Yay! Nice. Something other than just the same old fantasy stuff. I mean, let's make the bard the hero, and let's make the song the focus of the game. I know it's going to look gorgeous. Merchant Cove was an amazing design, so I am very interested and excited for my number 5, Bardwood Grove.
Yeah, and like you said, this is a theme that you don't normally see, right? The bards are never like front and center, and that's what I love about this as well. All right, So let's go on to my number 4. My number 4, we're talking about unique themes. This is a very unique theme, dog park.
Yes. Oh,
were you going to put this on? I had a feeling you were going to put this on.
I knew you were going to put it on. I think we were both. Who's going to, we're both dog lovers. Yeah.
Totally dog lovers. It's a midweight competitive set collection game. You got a couple of phases where you're walking, caring for dogs, and this one appealed to me right off the bat. I mean, I love dogs, of course, but just a fun little personal story. My stepdaughter Lauren, as she's going through college, she was a dog walker. Did y'all know there's an app for dog walking? You can go to, I forget the name of the app, but you actually download an app, and if you want your dog walked, you go to this dog walk app, and then people who are in the neighborhood say, hey, I will walk your dog, and you pay them through Venmo or whatever. Lauren did this for a couple of months to help get her through college. And so I'm thinking of Lauren. Yeah, I'm thinking about Lauren immediately. So I want to play this with my family. Where you walk dogs, and you're trying to earn the most reputation through set collection, and it's a point-to-point movement as well. So you're recruiting dogs, walking dogs, and caring for them, and earning reputation points as you do.
Yeah, no pressure on the developers of this game, but I want this to be Wingspan for dogs. That's what I'm hoping for, because this does not look, I mean, when I was reading it, I would assume, oh, it's just a really simple little game. You play some cards, they're cute. But no, these dogs have unique special powers. There's all about interacting with the other dog walkers, because when dogs and dog walkers get together, there's a lot of sniffing butts, quite frankly. And so I think there's a potential. This one I'm very excited for. You're number 4, yeah.
Yeah, this one's, I'm fired up. Okay, let's continue. You've got your
My
next
number 3.
one.
Is continuing in a theme. It's Mythwind. One word. Mythwind. Mythwind.
Yeah, I was looking at this one too. Nice.
Yep. Here's the deal. I was looking at it. I mean, the developers of this have done a lot of Q&As with the audience and podcasts. I'm like, where do I start? How can I even figure out what this game is? And when I saw one of their designer diaries, the title of it was Root Goes Co-op. Like, okay, you've got me. Because this game features extreme asymmetry. Like, everybody is playing a completely different game asymmetry. One player is a farmer. You are playing a farming game. Another player is a city builder. You are building a city. And you both have different mechanisms, but you're all part of the same ecosystem, because we want the village that we are associated with to grow and prosper over many sessions. I have wanted to play Kingdom Death Monster for a long time, not to roll dice and fight monsters, but to build a community and watch it grow over multiple sessions. Mythwind gives us that. I've also saw people refer to it, is this Root crossed with Stardew Valley, basically, because you just keep playing. It's an evergreen game. Your world keeps growing from session to session. It seems incredibly design-wise ambitious. It's gobsmackingly beautiful. It is a game in a fantasy world where the verb is build, not kill, which is always something I appreciate. And it's from the designer and publisher of Stars of Akarios, which was a big hit. I really almost covered that when it was on Kickstarter last year, but the timing didn't quite work out. I'm very excited to try that. It's kind of like a science fiction version of Mythwind, but Mythwind, my number 3, it looks amazeballs.
Yeah, it really does. It's
publisher,
absolutely gorgeous.
I want to cover this thing.
There it is. Okay, so let's continue to my... what number 1? Is this 2? Yeah, this is 2.
Yes.
We're talking about interesting, unique themes, and this is mine. Steam Up.
Of course, you put this on your list.
I am a foodie. I love to eat, and I love to cook, and I really love to eat. What am I saying here? I enjoy cooking. I love eating. Steam Up. This is a game about dim sum, folks. Dim sum. It's a 2 to 5 player game. They say light to medium weight. Set collection, action management. What you're doing on your turn, you've got a couple of actions you can do. You can gain and spend food tokens to purchase dim sum. You're going to have fortune cards that are going to affect yourself or your opponents. And then there are going to be fate cards as well, which are like events. They're going to affect everyone. And you keep going and going until the fate deck is emptied, and then you score your points. And whoever has had the best meal wins with the fullest stomach. That is Steam Up.
Does the game come with and require the use of chopsticks?
I hope so, because I'm going to be... I already know my meal when I play Steam Up is going to be a big old thing of dim sum right then and there. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
I love this.
Folks who are
I
listening,
absolutely love this theme. Yes.
From the picture that's on the Kickstarter pre-launch page, I mean, it's an abstract game about moving colorful pieces around. But wow, it looks like, you've actually got a full little table at a restaurant set up, ready to eat. It looks really colorful and sharp.
Yeah, and as people were saying, they're in chat here. They're saying that they're hungry. Yeah, the first second I looked at this, I was immediately hungry. So that is Steam Up. Okay, let's move on to your number 1.
We're only 3 minutes late. We saved the best for last. My number 1 is Artisans of Splendent Vale.
Oh, I'm so glad you picked this.
Yes, I knew. One of us had to. Honestly, I don't know if maybe you should talk about it more because of your connection with Renegade Games, but I'll tell you what I know about it. Everything I just said about Mythwind, about, hey, the verb is build, not kill. In this game, we are not warriors. We are artisans, like my wife, who makes gamer glass, by the way. Nice circle back to our sponsor. My wife is a fine artisan, and we get to play artisans in this world from designer Nikki Valens. And Nikki Valens, I gotta say, they have got such a huge pedigree now. I mean, I guess they worked for Fantasy Flight for many, many years, providing stuff on, Mansions of Madness and stuff like that. But a couple of years ago, they put out Legacy of Dragonholt, which is, to my way of thinking, got to be some of the most emotionally impactful storytelling in any board game experience I've ever had. You can go watch my run through for Dragonholt. Was it Hold or Holt? I forget. One or the other.
It was a T, yes.
With a T, Holt. It was fantastic. Yes. And then Nikki said, hey, you think that's all I got? Hold my beer. How about you check out Quirky Circuits? Which is basically a weird mishmash of Hanabi and Robo Rally, for lack of a better term. And that game was brilliant as well. So Nikki coming back, doing something new, whatever they've got in mind, I am definitely all over this. But even Nikki aside, the presentation of this game looks absolutely familiar. A game about artisans, not warriors. And I mean, there's not that much information in it. Maybe you have some more. But when they talk, the bullet lists of gameplay descriptions, they talk about how everybody works together cooperatively in action scenes, not in combat, in action scenes, which, yes, please. How about we do something other than just kill a bunch of orcs? And then finally, it looks like it's going to be amazing because it has a very strong focus on diversity, which, if you know Nikki's work from Legacy of Dragonholt, that's a big thing for them. And so I expect it's my number one of this month is Artisans of Splendent Vale.
Yeah, and I mean, just to echo that, I'm looking forward to this. I love Nikki Valen's designs. You'd mentioned Quirky Circuits, one of my favorites of the last few years, and also there's this. You'd mentioned they worked for Fantasy Flight for a while. There's a little obscure game called, it was a Star Wars game actually, the Rebels versus the Empire. It's a little card game. Yeah, which was, I thought, totally overlooked. You could totally pick it up for like $10. It's just a little card game based on on blackjack, 21, but you're using the original trilogy characters. So and it's got events. It's fantastic. I think it's criminally underlooked. Nikki Valen's a fantastic designer.
There's more to Nikki than I thought. I just knew the big two. Chad's asking, yes, this is a Kickstarter, and remember, folks. I couldn't put it live while we're going, but after this is over, if you come back in a half an hour, on YouTube anyway, you will find direct links to the pre-launch pages for every one of these. I believe most of these have been Kickstarter. A few of them have been Game Found, which I think we tried to mention as we went. But that's it. Our quote top 10 Kickstarters, which is really a top 25. But oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. I mean, we talked about doing this last week. You're like, this isn't going to take very long. This will be easy. We just find 10 games. And they're like, well, what about all the games that we've already... I mean, because here's the thing, folks. Those first 15, you have to remember, I and Shay and now Ruel, we are all incredibly picky. We all say no. Ruel came on and immediately he started saying no to the vast majority of games that we are contacted to cover, either because we don't think they'd look good or they just wouldn't be a good fit for us. Those 15 we talked about up front, those are the ones we actually studied and researched and thought, I want to play that. I am comfortable bringing that into our house and doing a preview for it. These the final 10, they all look amazing too. It's just that we're just on the sidelines like the rest of you, unless you have any inside Renegade info about Splendid Vale. And if you do, you can't.
My lips are sealed, my friend.
There you go. There you go. He's a good man, that Ruel Daviola.
But as you were saying, these are the top 10 that we're, just as fans of games, just like y'all out in chat, we are hanging out, we're checking out these games, we're fans of these. We've got a bunch that we are going to be covering, but these as well, we're hoping to see in the very near future. Wow. We did 25 games in about an hour. That is incredible. Give or take.
We're at an hour and 8. But I mean, we did other stuff. We did contest giveaways.
We did
sponsorship stuff.
Yeah.
We've had technical difficulties as well. So I would say probably we did this in under an hour if you want to give us a little bit of leeway. It was fun. Sorry, no time for Q&A this week. No Royal Ranks, but next week we will not be covering such a huge topic, and we'll get back to some of the basics. But you having fun? Yeah. Good time?
Great time. I hope everyone in chat is having a good time too. I love doing this every week, folks. I'm looking forward to next week. Yeah, we will come back next week with another great topic, another top 10, Ruel Ranks, some Q&A as well. So
and we'll do a better job of keeping an eye on the chat as well. We just had too much. 25 games. It was a lot.
It was a lot this time. It was a lot. So again, thank you all for hanging out and participating. Rahdo, you want to take us out of here? Okay.
Thanks for watching, everybody. And thanks once again to our sponsor of the show, gamerglass.art. Have a nice day. Talk to you later. So long. Bye-bye.